This is Isaac, owner of Lung Era. We serve Louisville, its surrounding areas, and southern Indiana for radon testing and mitigation. This radon mitigation system behind me is an exteriorly mounted sub-slab radon mitigation system utilizing the sump pit that's properly sealed to pull air from the perimeter of the home and exhaust it above the roof line. This video is a guide for you to better understand what radon mitigation system is for this particular scenario in this particular home. And if you find yourself with a similar home, hopefully it'll help you better understand what to expect for an installation of a radon mitigation system if you need one. I want to provide a little bit of background or context of the home and our client. Realistically, this customer is relatable in a sense of they're a younger couple who work out in their basement and have a family and decided to test their radon levels on their own using a consumer grade radon monitor, specifically in Airthings. They monitored the home for several weeks and the average radon level was around 6. So they decided to reach out to their Facebook page, and one of their neighbors recommended us. So they gave us a call, they got on our schedule, and we were able to install this system in a day. The home itself is around 2,300 square feet and the basement is around 900. Because we were able to utilize the sump pump area, we were able to get a water column level of around 1, which means that we're essentially pulling air nicely from underneath the home, and we anticipate the radon levels to be reduced, and I will update you that once I reach back out to the customer and they'll let me know what the radon levels are. But I hope this video guides you for yourself if you find yourself in a similar situation and you know what to expect for a home of this size and the way it's constructed with the sump pump. Before I get started here, I wanted to show you the Airthings monitor this client's using. You can see below it has a 7-day ongoing average of 6.13 picocuries per liter, which is above the action level of 4 picocuries per liter. So the decision for them was to take action and install this system. To the left of the sump pump discharge pipe, I am installing 3-inch Schedule 40 PVC. I drilled a 4-inch hole to the left of that pipe, and I'm able to run this pipe through there. This is Jimmy. He is our licensed electrician through Lighthouse Electric. He just installed the exterior on and off switch that will run power to the fan so that this system is NRPP compliant. Here is the fan that we're going to utilize. It's an AMG Phoenix EC radon fan from the newer line of Festa radon fans. We are using flex couplings to attach the fan to the base of the pipe there, and we're just going to tighten those down. Above the fan, we're going to use 45-degree elbows to attach, to go from the fan and attach it to the siding of the home. Here's a little bit of a close-up of the electrical system that Jimmy installed. You can see that it has an on and off switch, and he gave me a little bit extra wire there so then I can just cut it down when I'm ready and attach those wires to the fan. I like to use 2-inch sheet metal screws to take the hooks or the pipe straps and attach them to the siding on the edge of the house. I like 2-inch because siding can be a little bit tricky depending on how it was put on, and 2 inches allows us to make sure that we are properly securing this. We get all types of weather conditions here in Louisville, from tornadoes to ice storms to a lot of snow in the wintertime, that I just want to make sure this system holds up through all those weather conditions. And here, just like I said, is I'm going to shorten that electrical wire there and put a 90-degree elbow on there to make sure it's sealed properly into the fan, and then connect the wires and make sure that the fan turns on properly. And once that's completed, we can use a silicone caulk around the perimeter of that piping, and then I put this flange over top just because I think it looks more professional. It's just another layer of protection from any moisture, insects, etc. that could be getting into that seal plate. So now this is the completed system in the exterior. You got the electrical hookup, you got the fan, and now the exhaust is running up above the roof line. Two big questions that we get asked often is, what about moisture that's coming through there or water? Well, this whole thing has a negative slope that's coming all the way down to the sump pump. So any moisture or rain or condensation is just going to kind of work back through that pipe and work down to that sump pump area again. And then we did put a rodent protector on the top of that pipe. It's just kind of a metal cage that keeps any squirrels from putting something down there or birds from flying in there and kind of screwing up the system. So I wanted to show you inside the sump pump area, that's the corrugated pipe that we're utilizing to pull air from underneath the concrete. So most of the time that corrugated pipe is going to collect water, and that water is going to run it back to the sump pump area. Where here we're able to utilize that to pull radon filled air from underneath the slab of the home, pull it into the system, exhaust above the roof line, so it doesn't get into your lungs as the homeowner of this house. And so here is the access port that I'm installing. This is a very important piece of sealing a sump lid because it is important as a homeowner to maintain your sump pump, and this, because once the system is sealed, it's hard to maintain it. So this access port, you're able to pull it out and then put your hand down in there and make sure everything's working properly and just visually inspect it as well. And then this is the area that we're gonna just install the pipe that's gonna come down there and enter underneath the sump lid from that second hole I just drilled. And then we're gonna use 100% silicone caulk to seal the lid. The reason I like 100% silicone is because it creates an airtight seal, but it's also easy to kind of pop off that lid if you need to in the future. And so I think that's an important feature to any sealed sump lid, is that yes, it is sealed, but you also want future access to it to do any repairs or to replace that sump lid in the future without completely ruining the sump lid that you spent money on to properly seal. And then here I'm just adding 2 screws in as well. They're Phillip head screws. This is a relatively common screw head that any homeowner hopefully will have that can just unscrew those if they need to in the future. Now we're going to bring that piping down from the exit point of the house into the top of the sump lid area that we just got done sealing. You can see here I'm using a rubber coupling again. The rubber coupling is important because you see over to the left where the sump pump discharge pipe is coming out, there is a check valve there that any plumber can kind of undo in order to gain access to that sump pump. But here on the right hand side for the mitigation system, we want to be able to unscrew that as well, so that makes it easier to have access into that sump pump area. And then here I'm just making sure everything's properly in place and working its way all the way down to the sump pump area. Here's a little overview. There's the access port we were talking about. There's that rubber coupling, the check valve, and then everything's essentially working back up to the exhaust area. And then lastly, we need to add the manometer. The manometer is a visual way that the homeowner can look at this system and make sure that the fan is properly pulling air. And from a mitigator's perspective, it helps us understand the water column level to make sure that we're installing the proper fan as well. So here's just adding a few stickers, filling out the contact information of us, our company's name, our phone number, and our PP certification numbers, etc. I did want to show you what it sounds like when you pull the access port out, just so you can understand what it sounds like. So that sound is just that air that's constantly being pulled through that system by the fan and is being exhausted above the roof line. So we're just collecting that radon-filled air underneath the slab, utilizing that sump lid, and pulling it up to exhaust it back up into the atmosphere. So this is awesome. I told you I'd update you on what the customer said. After 24 hours, they sent a picture of the same monitor that he used to detect the radon levels in the first place, and it was already showing after one day it was down to 0.35. So that's a great success. This is one of the best parts of this job, is just to be able to be trusted to take care of these homeowners and to reduce the radon levels as much as possible for them and their family. Okay, well that wraps up the overview of this mitigation system. Just a reminder, if you go to lungera.com, you can request a free radon test kit if you're in our territory. Until next time, I hope you have a great day.